Yeah, and we are live. I don't know, man. It's crazy. In the building, checking the audio. We good. Yeah, man. So this this is crazy, man. I don't know the situation of these people. I don't know where they coming from, where they going. I mean, conversations getting kind of thick. Thoughts of this, running that. The nation's this, the nation's that. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. When it comes to this space, we got some social characters over here, man. We got some, you know, some good storytellers. I should say the least. Some good storytellers, man. They coming in with the premise of enlightenment, trying to get things together, I guess, and give food for thought, man. I guess when it come down to it, guys over here pretty much like running the nation, man, trying to, put things in perspective. I guess, because I mean, I don't know. My thought is who running this, who helping this? Like, I'm confused. I'm lost about this whole thing. I I tell people I came in the Black Manosphere, man. I'm over here trying to get my money right. I'm listening to BGS with the, current events, and I start hearing all this stuff about black man should do this, black man should do that. I'm like, okay, well, when it come down to it, most of this stuff I'm already doing. I'm already implemented this in my life. I ain't got no pops. My pops gone. But at the same time, I think I'm still living by these guidelines in which these guys are saying, the guys who had dads, the guys who doing this, the guys who doing that. But as it stands, I guess I just move different, man. Talking about the women this and the women that. I'm gonna keep it plain and simple. These are my thoughts. When it comes to these women, if you don't like them, don't deal with them. You know, Plain and simple. Why am I gonna invest in a car I don't like? You know, let's say I did like the car. Let's say I like the Lambo. I go buy the Lambo. I don't like the Lambo. I'm selling the Lambo. Why am I gonna keep a car I don't like, man? Come on. This is what we doing about the community and the women. We out here trying to buy these women and we don't like them. Cause that's what I hear. I don't like these black females. I don't fool with these chicks. I don't this and that with these females. But in the words of BJS, and I say it too, most of these guys ain't nothing but one blowjob from getting married. One blowjob from saying I do. She proposed to you. But man, you know, thoughts of who, man? I'm gonna open up the panel in a minute, just setting the tone because basically this is just gonna be open discussion, man. It's gonna be everywhere. And I really want Thought to come up here, because he was on Roger channel, man. And I wanna understand like what's this rule of engagement that people gotta follow, man. I wanna understand like what is things that I don't know. I mean, I can't even really, what I'm saying, break it down the way he had it, insinuate what are the rules of engagement that we got to follow as black people because let him tell it, we being misguided by the other side, you know. And the crazy part, what's going on, Pablo? What's going on, Doug? Computer Geek, Tone, what's going on? So when it comes down to it, man, I don't get it. You know, Society, we're in the system, you know, and I'm gonna break into this. It was funny. I was on Plat Channel. Dude was on there basically saying that for all the men There's no hope. Can't deal with these females. Cool. That's your theory. That's your thought. That's how you feel. But when it come down to it, hey, bro, let me fly. Let me land. I'm gonna do me. I'm married. You know, you not married. So I'm assuming that you losing in the game. You know, not shooting no bad on the brother, but you losing in the game because you ain't married. You know, so you ain't winning out here in these streets. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like I tell guys, you know, I've been married 15 years. I ain't gonna say my marriage gonna be forever. Who knows what the future holds? My wife might turn out to be a thought. She might not. Don't know. That's the whole thing dealing with emotions and people. Stuff change, man. Over time, people change, all this stuff, man. Like this whole, point of reference of one size fit all when it comes to black women. I told you it's a lot of them that's fucked up, but I give it about 13. I say about 15 to 13% of them are decent. You know, I moved it up. I was being a little model. I gave them 15 because that's dealing with most of the older women and a sprinkle of the goddamn little young girls out here. And it's crazy dealing with that type of, environment with those women because all they want to do is have fun. All they want to do is pop bottles, the life, you know, get to the bag. That's what they're noticing. That's fun right now, getting to the bag. That's why I say it's 13% of good women. Out of the 13, 8% of them are married. So, like I said, that leaves you at 5% unicorn. A lot of women, I tell that to, they kind of get a little offended by it. But then when I start saying like how all these good women are out here going towards the women that actually just out here chasing the bag, I ain't even gonna call them hoes. They just misguided, you know. And the hoes are misguided. The hoes are out here doing the misguiding to the younger women, even the older women the same way, But I don't like hitting that topic right there because at the end of the day, them females gonna do what they gonna do regardless. I ain't got time to be playing like that. You know, it's just a crazy thing, man. And but let me get back to this. So basically, dude was kind of coming at me saying that with me being married, I'm losing out here. My wife got control over me. So basically, I'm I'm just a nobody. You know, because my wife, she at any given time, she can call the police on me, get me locked up, and all. We hear this all the time, bro. When it come down to it, that's your mindset. That's the environment you live in. We were just talking about this earlier on Roger Channel, and it's already happening. It's two type of black people, as in the culture. The people who really want to be about something, even if you ain't got no money, you can still want to be about something. I've seen some of the poorest people issue out some type of, renderance of class. It's beneath them to, let's say, eat Roman noodles, but they eat Vienna sausage. No, look, little crap like that of class. We don't do those type of things. And I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, that's you and your fight. He didn't want to deal with women. He said he only deal with hoes. Cool. You know. And my biggest thing that I push to like a lot of the young guys, let these young guys experience life. Show them how to not get caught up. That's my thing. Don't let these little young guys get caught up. Help them out. That was my whole reason for making my channel. And for people that don't know, my channel is based on family and generational wealth. Even for the dudes that come in as single, hey, you still need money. Know what I'm saying? Either gonna give some money to your niece and nephews, people in your family, or even for the longevity, you still need some type of money to get buried. You don't want to leave a burden for nobody. For all the people that say, man, when I die, I don't care what happened to me, you don't get no funeral. Somebody gonna mourn you. Your body get put in a pine box in an unmarked grave in a corner of a cemetery somewhere, and who knows they do that? They might don't even do it that way. Depending on how much gas is, they might just throw you in the infirmary. They might don't put you in that pine box because you're gonna be in an unmarked grave anyway. City got to maintain all that. So it's better for them to just go ahead burn you up. And the crazy part that a lot of people are not, understanding when it comes to situations like that, man, taking care of yourself, man, is key. Putting yourself in position to win at any level, whether you single or not. I talked about this before I got married. I had life insurance. My cousins, they weren't shit. I actually had my life insurance tied to my homeboy's son. You know, little cousins, they are my little cousins, boys and girls. They act real shitty towards their pops. So I wasn't leaving them nothing. My homeboy had a newborn. Um, I rocked out with him, rocked out the little boy. So I'm like, I'm gonna leave the life insurance for him. Is that a problem? You know, he wasn't mad at that. Because when it came down to it, he's like, dang, well, if something happened to you, I got something for my son. So, you know, words of that McDonald's, da da da. I'm loving it. So the crazy part, I'm sitting dealing with him and got the life insurance stuff. But when I get married, I transfer everything over to, you know, well, not really to my stepkids just yet, but over time I end up transferring everything over to my wife. And then when my kids were born, that's when I started grabbing more money and pushed everything over to my stepkids and my kids I got. Yeah, and yep, I'm a stepdad for all these hating dudes that be, crabbing and talking about that. Yep. So it is what it is. And for all y'all, yeah, I don't care. Sue me. But back to the thing. I just couldn't get it with dude. So basically you telling me that because a situation of me being married that I'm losing out here and when it comes down to it, I'm just thrown to the streets. There's no way for me to win. The situation at hand is all the stuff that goes on is all gonna be my fault. That my wife, she gonna take all my money. Like, dude, I'm tired of all these guys with this defeated mindset, man. Like, really, what's going on? Like, what's the business, man? Like, why even try life? That's my thing that I look at. Why even try life? You know, if a situation is that bad, why try life? Why we gotta have, guys out here steady trying to shame other guys, throw other guys up under the bus, but when it come down to it, don't even try life. Just let it go. You know, you gon' you gonna get a divorce anyway. So why get married? Why set up a family? Why have lineage? Why have kids? It ain't gonna work out anyway. That's all I hear throughout so many channels, man. And when it come down to it, you got a lot of guys pushing this, man. And I'm like, come on. You know, the mentality of men out here, we supposed to be building, showing these young guys something. Showing them the ropes, man. Be that as it may, when it come down to it, like I said, everybody ain't gonna make it, man. But the whole point of it is to, teach these young guys the move, man. Show these guys what the next step is in life. Because at the end of the day, half of these guys ain't got fathers, man. Half of these dudes ain't got nobody that literally I talk to guys in this space they got no guidance. These guys in their 30s, around my age. You shouldn't be doing the same thing as a 19-year-old when you're 30s, man. Come on. You got guys in their 50s, like, come on, dude. You in your 50s sagging. You a granddad. You a granddad out here. You and your grandson going to the corner store, He pulling up his pamper, you pulling up your pants. Come on, man. Like, what are we teaching the generation? Nothing. You know, and a lot of guys just like I say, just don't know because their dads wasn't there for them. You know, they didn't have that opportunity to say, you know, I'm gonna do this because, you know, I was taught this. I mean, this is what they seen on a daily. You had young men sit out here, they see men in the neighborhood doing stuff like this. So what was their option? To go out and do the same thing. And it's just crazy, man. What's going on now?
What's going on, She?
Not much, man.
Can you hear? Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
I can hear
having
you
us
good.
over. Okay, thanks for having us over, man. This is my first time over here on your platform.
Yeah, no problem, no problem,
Appreciate
man.
you. Appreciate you having us over after I was over listening to Roger's show today. It was a good show, but I didn't quite understand what the so-called pro-black brother was trying to get at. Was he trying to say that because of all of the oppression and unfairness and mistreatment that blacks have had in this country, that we should not hold them to any type of standards because it would be the quote unquote white man standard? Was that his
And
basic premise?
pretty much, pretty much that was his whole premise. That if we set any rules of engagement with black people, we follow in the standard of, you know, the man. You know, and
Uh huh.
he referred to it all throughout the show. You know,
Yeah.
anytime,
Well,
and he's done this several times.
yeah. And I totally disagree with that because, first of all, that would be selling black people short. We have several uh, soul food restaurants here in Atlanta. Two of the biggest. One is Pascal's, and the other one is called This Is It. Guess what? For the most part, everybody treats those two establishments with great respect. Pascal's used to serve Dr. King, Andy Young, and all of his uh, uh, group of civil rights workers down here in Atlanta. So Pascal's is known for that. They even had a restaurant in the Atlanta airport, right? And This Is It is another kind of family-run soul food restaurant. People go, for the most part, they dress appropriately, they behave themselves, they treat the establishment with respect, and they patronize it, and have made those people wealthy. So to me, he's selling black people short, like, well, we've just been so traumatized, we don't know how to act. Well, if we acted any type of way near how we were treated, this place would be up in flames. So I disagree with him in the sense that, oh no, we got sense. A lot of us have great dignity, right? Considering what we had to come from, right? A lot of us have great dignity, or else we would be batshit crazy, but we're not. And so what you're seeing is a lot of us are trying to right the ship. We're trying to make correction to those of us who are out of pocket. And some folk don't want to go along. Why? I don't know. I don't know why.
What's going on, yo?
What's up,
True.
man?
What's
Go
going
ahead.
on, Nix?
Not much. Hey, I just wanted to chime in, man. If I get back to work, man. Hey, listen. on, on, I write, right? So I've been on YouTube for a minute. I've been observing different sectors, right? So to me, it's like a case study, that I observe over time. So I'm able to, it's helped me with my observation of people, which we got to get better in that, right? And we have to get better at like letting the law of attraction kick in, right? But that's only when you change your energy. You don't want it to kick in if you're in a negative place or you got low vibration. And that's a lot of people's fault. We blame it on the man, blame it on the woman. But law of attraction, you will pull similar type of energy, right? But if you raise your energy, man, get to know yourself. A lot of us need some therapy. Get to know yourself and raise your energy. It's just as simple as, time to get a new car, and you want that new car, and it's a certain car that you've been looking for, right? You're looking at it on your computer, you printing it out. It's like you're emotionally attached to this car. That's just like the law of attraction, man. Because now every time you go on that road and you drive, now all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. It's the law of attraction. So we putting out stuff that we're attracting. So, and when it comes to men, I'm gonna put it on us and say it's our faults first. And the reason why I say that, man, listen, the way they talk, man, should be an insult to us. Oh, they just take anything. You just give them some pussy. But the way women talk about men, it's like we children, man. We don't got no dick control. It's like they know they can easily manipulate us. That should piss us off to a point that we raise our standards. And if it was possible, which I know it ain't, if it was possible and all men was to raise their standards, or a sufficient amount of men, fucking OnlyFans would have been in trouble a long time ago. These Instagram models wouldn't be getting endorsements off of our likes. Let the women like your pic and see how much left. Nowadays, when I see a pic that I like it with my eyes and I keep scrolling. I ain't giving you no hearts. I ain't liking your shit. I don't have to. I don't know you. You're not getting up from me. It's cool. But we got to raise our standards, man. And, practice dick control. And like I tell my son, practice the art of saying no. If you're a man on your purpose and you leading a family, hey, pleasing your woman should come second after taking care of the house, taking care of your purpose as a man in that family. So you got to tell her no. If she get mad, she just fucking get mad. And ain't nothing like you doing everything to please a woman and making a bad decision that it ain't a good decision. And then her telling you, well, you didn't have to listen to me. You're damn right. That was my bad. So we got to raise our standards, man. And I asked this question because I got a book I'm working on called Something to Think About. A lot of questions, man, people don't ask. And I know women are not used to, and I know women are not used to. I was on the panel and they kept talking about that submission thing. Well, if I find a man to be submissive to, I will. First of all of y'all that say that don't believe that. Some of y'all lying. Some of y'all don't want to be submissive, but you'll use that because the easiest way to do is attack a man's manhood. Oh, a man got to be on his word. A man is supposed to be, calm. Yeah, you want me to be calm while you try to tear into my shit. You trying to use my man. Nah, the fuck I do what I want. Don't disrespect me. There's a lot of these games being played. And it's only by certain women. I'm not saying all women. But I asked the question. They said, well, if a man don't do X, Y, and Z, then, he doesn't have my submission anymore. He loses my submission. So I said, cool. So I'm going to ask you a question. Because all women ain't perfect like men. So if you don't do everything that you do, what do I take from you? And she fucking couldn't answer it. A lot of them can answer that because they so used to holding us by certain standards because we're the man. But ask them, if you're not doing your shit as a woman, what do I get to take from you? You don't know? What about security and protection? Would that be okay? Since I lose my submission, if I'm not on my shit, do you lose security and protection from me? If you do everything that I ask you as a man, do I get to give you a honey-do list too? So I can time you to see how fast you do it and then bitch about. A lot of times they don't get that because society doesn't turn that on them like that. Women who've been raised a certain way, they don't have these issues with because their purpose when it comes to the house, before you leave out of the door, they making sure that can't nothing a woman do to you that they ain't already done. Whether if it's emptying your balls before you leave the house, telling you handsome, making sure you good so that your ass can come back home. They ain't worrying about them other women because they'll protect their house to their life. Same thing with a man when you're on your purpose. We got to practice the law of attraction and we got to match up with these people, man, who's serious about relationships. Let them other ones, man, hey, let them die alone, do whatever they want to do. But don't waste your time. Men and women, don't waste your time on people who ain't built for this relationship community shit, man. Leave them alone.
Yeah, that's pretty much facts, man. When it comes down to it, like a lot of women who actually, married didn't have a lot of problems with getting married. Because even with getting the ring, they knew what it took to get that ring. Even the ones that, play the game just to get married or do whatever, they know what it takes to get married. They just don't want to do it. Even in situations where women been married for 20 years, like a lot of people, coming into, well, I'm not gonna be like my grandma. I'm not gonna be like my aunt. She slaved over my granddad. You could say that, but your grandma never have to want for anything. Staying in a nice house, car, all the bills paid, lights ain't cut off, but you're steady borrowing from people, dealing with men, borrowing money because you don't. It's not even the point of submitting. It's just the point of being a good person with good morals when you're dealing with your significant other. You know, and that's like the main issue that a lot of women have in relationship. Men too. I
Yeah,
I push both on both sides
but
because I hear so many guys on these panels. First thing they always talk about how women choose wrong. No, that's who they wanted. They wanted Pookie in their life at that time. When they get older, they know they can't keep dealing with Pookie, so they got to
Yeah, I
find some
agree.
guy to deal with that's gonna, suppress all this Pookieism in their head. Because every woman has been told that these thug boys out here, they be smashing them down. They got the money. Most of the dudes ain't smashing these women like that. Most of these dudes ain't got the money like that.
so
This
holding
whole
women too.
standard. Yeah.
Well,
Holding
listen,
women.
think about it. It's like this: when you're young, when these girls are young, what's important is popularity,
Yeah.
right?
Influence.
Well, yeah, the popular guy, the hot guy, the guy that everybody wants, the guy that's on the football team, whatever, whatever. But then as they age, it's a different criteria as to what they want and need, and that ain't the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But listen, we listen, like a lot of men and women gotta be honest. We keep talking about that, what we want, and we want a woman and we want a man that got most of us ain't even ready for them people. Like, but on the most part, it's on the woman part. Because you got to look at the black man's reputation, man. Our reputation ain't good. So when it comes to standards or certain things, a lot of people, a lot of women don't look at it like that. And that's why, when I hear on the panels, well, we want a man to be a real man. Do you really? Do you really want me to be a real man without saying it's toxic masculinity? Do you really want me to be a real man? Are you really ready for that? Because judging by the men that you dated before, you ain't ready for that. Because number one, my issue has always been, right? Now I used to have an issue with my mom. All that strong and independent, I'm cool with all that. But all the aggressive stuff, I rebelled against my mom. Because I had men in my family, we ain't do that shit. And you're not gonna emasculate me. Oh no, we don't. I'm not doing that shit. Especially if I ain't disrespect you, we not doing that. But you know what I'm saying? Like the thing about it is, if you want to be a certain type of way, that's cool. But if you want a man to be a man, are you going to be able to deal with that? If you can't trust his vision, his direction, matter of fact, I mean, you shouldn't be with him in the first place. Don't even waste time. You shouldn't be with him in the first place. But a lot of times, we be in situations where, we going back and forth and, we competing and all this type of stuff. My biggest issue has been I've dated women who are strong and independent. But the issue with me was I was just as strong as independent as they are. And I guess they never figured that was possible. So guess what? The more you tell me how you don't need this and need that, the less I'm even asking for you to do for me because I can do this shit myself. I only need you here for companionship. I don't need all that shit you talking about. I'm in here for the companionship. Like I'm not going back and forth with you because you're telling me, well, I was taught how to do this, so I don't need a man. Well, that's funny because a lot of women have taught their sons to learn the domestic stuff. So do we necessarily need a woman to cook and clean? No. But see, the difference in society is a man will just do it without reminding you. He'll do it without reminding you. I can cook and clean and all that. How many men you say, well, I could do this without a woman. I don't need a woman. We do it. When you have a child, how many men you say, well, I changed the diaper faster than you and I do this. Well, let me cook because I do this better than you. And but we just do it. I'm sorry, ladies, but some of y'all have to remind us how good y'all are. That ain't good. So psychologically, you're reminding your man that he's not good at X, Y, and Z. You may not notice, but it's subliminal. This ain't a race to change no diaper. This ain't a race to who can cook better and all this type of shit. We do it. Just cook the damn food. It don't fucking matter. Just cook the shit. So a lot of us through bad learned behavior, we're competing, and that ain't what we supposed to do. And a man ain't supposed to be trying to compete with women are naturally capable of doing. As far as nurturing, I ain't not supposed to be trying to compete with y'all. Ain't no way. But we get caught up in it. And I asked my wife one time. I said, "Would you get mad if I say a woman belong in the kitchen?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, cool. Well, we live in a house, right? You want me to help you cook and clean and do stuff in the house? Cool." I said, "So, right, I'm getting ready to go outside. So after I get off the roof, right, clean the gutters, you know what I'm saying? Power wash the house and, do all the shit that I do around the house. While sometimes y'all be still asleep, you want me to also come help you because the trash is what the man's, right? You consider that man stuff, right? So what part of the house is considered woman stuff? Because when I'm looking at everything, it is a unisex besides the duties that I do outside the house. Tell me something.
Yeah. Well,
And guess
speaking.
what? I do it and I don't tell you when I do it and I don't complain about it. You'll never see me come, man, I've been working 12 hours. Oh man, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. I'm telling you, for a man or woman, if you're dating them and listen, because you're gonna cook and clean if I ain't here at all. But if those things bother you, don't do them. But never make it that far in that relationship with them because they not cool with their duties. I mean, the shit that they're gonna do while you're not there anyway. If you complaining about doing that type of stuff, you got other people from other cultures. They look at that like, y'all whining, y'all complaining. Because if he ain't there,
Well,
you still gonna cook and clean.
yeah, you're gonna have to learn cooperation. And like
Exactly.
for myself, I one of the most relaxing things that I do is cook on the grill. I got a really nice big barrel style grill, right? And my wife, she usually cook during the week, but on the weekend, I like to get on my grill. So I've found that something that relaxes me, that I enjoy, that also helps to make it so that my wife is not overworked, right? And when I ain't cooking on the grill, I just say, hey, come on, let's go out to eat, right? So I find ways to share the load, share the responsibilities around the house. And she, to what you were saying, one of the things that I disagree with the manosphere and some of their uh, ideas is this: they some of them are anti-marriage, but they want the community to change. You can't change it unless how you gonna change it if there are no more if you don't encourage the creation of families. You see
Yeah.
what I mean? You one of the biggest problem, one of the biggest issues behind the wealth gap between black and white people is this: you paying for two homes when they living in one house paying with two incomes.
Facts. Hey, that's
Mhm.
it's crazy that you bring that up, and that's why I was saying when it comes to society, it's profitable for people to get divorced. I mean, just in America alone, not even in our
Yep.
community, just in America alone. We
Married and
spend so
divorced.
much money on double everything. You know,
Yep.
why do we need like I'm in a situation. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I literally had 4 cars. I had 3 pickup trucks. I rent them out and do a little work with them, and trailer, dolly, and a car. Why did I need all those vehicles? I don't. I mean, literally, I can use one. Even with my business, I can lease. Get my money down to leasing to where I won't have to spend so much and let my workers keep the cars. But when it come down to it, I got so much stuff, man. Four wheeler, all kind of like crap. Like if
Yeah.
me and my wife was to get a divorce, splitting that stuff down. I mean, knowing that she's not that type of vindictive person, but who knows when the marriage gets split, how things will go. But the point it is, man, even in the community now, man. A lot of guys don't understand. Two two parent households, you know, they know the stats about the kids doing good. But what about you overall as a person? Me personally, I tell my wife, you there, that's great. But if you not, ain't nobody gonna say. That's why I always have this. topic I always bring up called help the bear. Because nobody's coming to save you. You got to do it on your own, whether you like it or not. A lot of men don't understand that, so they come to this whole aspect. Even when you were just talking about cooking, I cooked several times. My wife tried to put me on a schedule one time. I said, "Look, we ain't doing this." I said, "I will tell you several nights that, hey, just sit down. I'm gonna cook. Respect it and check it. Go in there, kick your feet up, do what you're gonna do, because I'm about to go in here and put in some work. I cook on the grill. I cook, on the start, cook stir fry, all this stuff. Kids like my cooking, so it ain't just that I know how to cook macaroni and cheese. I cook a slew of everything: fish, rib, well, not rib no more, but all kind of stuff: chicken, baked chicken, grilled chicken, all this. But the
But
point
there's a
of
lot of
reference
men
is,
that cook, bro. There's a lot of men
yeah,
that actually do cook.
yeah, and that's what I tell the men when they always complaining about the women cooking and stuff. I'm like, so who cooks when you alone? Oh well, I cook. I ain't got no choice. So what's the problem with you cooking? You're gonna sit here and starve at home because your wife ain't cooking. That's what you're essentially telling the guys on the panel.
And
You
the
know?
best chefs in the world are men.
Yeah, and see earlier I was making a point, right? Because I like to have thought provoking points, right?
Yeah,
Um, I mean I do help in the house, but I like to have thought provoking points because a lot of times it's learned behavior, and through social norms we believe certain things without even knowing why we believe it. So I like to challenge those things and ask those questions. So you know what I mean, like I said, I help around the house, but it's just interesting. And you think about it, right? The way Black Americans, the way we do stuff, right? Now, listen, I grew up from Jersey. I'm around all type of cultures. Everywhere I'm at, I end up around Africans. I've dated 3 African women, but their idea of family is a little bit different, man. So I can, we can have those conversations, right? But you know, in our community, we lost the village mindset. We lost the elder mindset, right? Because we replaced that with um you don't put nobody, leave people out of your relationships, let people mind your business and that's this and that, right? And it makes sense to us, right? That you don't never put nobody in your marriage, your relationship. Makes sense. But then when I look at other peoples who have a village mindset and the elder mindset, they take on your marriage as if they own, and if you acting up, the fellas, we gonna pull you aside and set you straight. If your wife acting up, the ladies are gonna get her right because they want your relationship to be successful. They put their energy into it like it's theirs for a tribe, and they make sure
That's
it's
true,
successful. That's what they do.
no
But
doubt.
see, we want everybody our business, and because we don't have the elders, you don't know who to talk to, and then we on our own with bad foundations trying to figure it out with no guidance,
yeah,
and we fail.
Well,
We've been taught to do things differently, man. Like, listen, you got people with doctor degrees and businesses. I know a friend, she got a doctor degree and 3 businesses, right? Never ever would she leave with her accomplishments at all. She was taught accomplishment and she was taught education. They go hand in hand. There was no one over the other. She knows at the end of the day, when I go home, I'm a woman. My man helps out, but I know what I'm supposed to do. He know what he's supposed to do. There is no issues with that. And I keep saying overall, like we keep fighting against nature. Oh, men do it, women do it. That's crazy. We fighting against biological imperatives, man. Nature in the end always wins because every living thing in nature knows their roles except for us humans. We keep
But you know what,
fucking
my
with shit.
brother? Can I say something real quick to your
Say that.
point
Good.
about other cultures, particularly African culture, and it's also like that a little bit in Latin America because my wife is Dominican.
Yeah, they
But
they help they help those relationships. They friends had daughters and all. Man, come on.
right, but the reason they can do that is this: they involve the family in the build in this the vetting process in the
Facts.
beginning.
Facts.
So if you're dating a guy or you want to see a guy, he got to meet the whole family. The whole family going to eventually know him, watch him, observe him, all of that before he, gets to. And if they don't approve, you're not going to get to see her. You're not going to get to marry her. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, like, listen, relationships, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. And you're in your role, and I'm gonna speak for a man. Your role as a man, like that should be an honor to be a husband, to be a father. Like that's a serious ass position, right? Seriously. So it's nothing wrong with, like she's saying, it's nothing wrong with that. Women too. Your role is very important. But men and women, we just have to understand that one of the most important decisions that you'll make in your life is who you choose to partner up with. I mean, that's a very important decision. Like none of us, men and women, we don't have time to be wasting on people and as far as the negativity out there, don't let people fool you that there's no good men and there's no good women. That's a damn lie.
Facts.
That's a damn lie. Like we just have to figure out why we keep picking the wrong people. And once we figure that out, you know what I'm saying, we could find the right person and build something beautiful. You know what I mean? And I'm only saying some of these things because it's thought provoking because we never challenge stuff. We move in relationships, we move fast, and then we try to find out each other later. I hear somebody say, well, if I'm not married in 2 years, then he wasting my time, whatever. And I'm like, is it fear based that you want to move to get a title? Because you should build the solid foundation first, which you can be not married and have a stronger foundation than somebody that's married. You have to have a strong foundation. And do we even go to marriage counseling any days? Look at the divorce rate. Do we even go to marriage counseling? We move so fast, and then we finding out later that, yeah, I knew you were Muslim and I was a Christian, but I didn't know how we was gonna clash. And now we talking about kids now, and wow, what church we gonna go? Like, oh, we never talked about this. Here it is 3 years later, and now we got to learn each other again. We already married.
Yeah, and that's important, bro. Thank you for letting me on the panel, Steve. Yeah, but that's important. I've been on the panel with that's Pablo up there, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, brother. I love what you said earlier, you know, about the space, because, and it's not that we down in the space, because I do believe we kind of feel like we belong to it, although we haven't signed no papers, you know what I'm saying, to say we belong to the space.
Right, right.
The problem that you run into is the teachings. You know, it depends on who you listen to. Me and she talk about this a lot. You know, the teachings will have some of the men who I feel haven't learned to the level of what we are, thinking that, you know, yeah, man, that's right. You know, when we know dead wrong, that is wrong, you know, from health issues all the way down to, you know, what you think you should be as a leader. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got your head straight at all yourself, how are you going to lead? You are to lead, because that's man nature in a marriage, you know, to lead your wife and your family. But half of these guys don't have that, you know. True. So we need to start with the root of getting these men to where they need to be before they even think about, you know, talking about, well, look, I'm gonna be the one to choose. She got to be 0 to 6. She got to be fit, okay? And he sit up here like a fat ass blob on the other end of the computer, not showing his face.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
You know what I'm saying? We got to get out of that shit, man, because we lied to these guys.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I tell people about knowledge itself, you got to know who you are and know what you want out of life. Like I always use this. I can't take a woman by the hand, walk down the street with her, see a burning building, grab her hand, and we walk into the building together. I got to know that, like you a little kid touching the stove. It's hot. Don't do that. You know, a lot of men, you know, they only been taught a lot of stuff through a lot of, I don't want to go down that way, but you know, just with a lot of women telling them certain things, and with friends, you know how many dudes I knew in high school didn't have dads, didn't really have moms in their life helping them, but they would always say, yeah, man, you know, my partner said, do this. Like, whoa, you say you about to go do what? Man, I'm about to, you know, do this and do that. Man, about to go hit this chick with no con, you know, just little random little stuff like that. Like, hey, bro, you want kids? No. So why you doing that? Man, old boy said it's cool because, you know, you got an 85% chance of having a baby if you pull out, you know, the pull out kings and all that. I'm like, bro.
No. That's crazy.
That knowledge itself is key, man. You got to know what you want out of life. A lot of dudes don't know that. You know, you got to know every aspect. When you get into a marriage, you're taking on responsibility, not just for yourself, but for your wife and your kids. So if you fail, they fail. You know, it ain't no, man, if I that's it.
And you know what, I wanted to address something, if it's okay. Are you there? I
I
think
think she fell off, but go ahead.
but yeah, I want to address this. Raquel Martinez says female-led relationships are the norm. It seems so sad, and I believe that is true. Well, I know it's true, and the reason why it is true, to be sad, I don't think it should be a tradition, but I think like where brother right here was stating earlier, we got to balance each other off,
Right.
but we should continue to know our roles. That balance could be, and the way you set your analogy to your wife, man, you said, look, you want me to go out here in the hot sun, clean the gutters, be up on the roof, come back in the house, throw the trash out, and then come and cook. Usually a woman like that, she see a man, working like that, she'd be like, okay, baby, let me get your lemonade. Let me have your plate ready, for when you come in and have your shower ready. Because,
Right.
how you've been working. And those are the traditions. Those are just natural instincts. But like me, I never wanted my wife in the kitchen because she couldn't cook. But that's what I bargained for.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what though? It's like crazy nowadays because first of all, I put a lot on the men first, right? And we got to have a balanced message, right? And we got to know, like, and I have to make sure that I remember to do this. And I say some women, and I got to say some men, because you don't want to talk about or include the men and women who are not in that category, right? And at the same time, when you get done with that, you got to bring it full circle, and you got to talk about the positive ones, right? Because you got to have a balanced message. Because if it's all negative, what is the solution? Because these young kids are watching. My oldest daughter, she watching, and she like, y'all adults seem more immature than the kids. Like, they're watching. So if it look like all we're doing is complaining, it don't look good. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of guys and women who saying what they won't do, right? Oh, I won't do this, I won't do that. And I told one of the ladies who has a beautiful spirit, right? We got one in the chat, Vivian Jennings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told this lady, I said, you see how you come on the panel, and a lot of these women, they complain about the men or whatever, but you come on the panel, you can have a conversation, right? And you could be up here. And I asked her, I said, does any of these men disrespect you? She said, no. I said, exactly. Because it's your mindset. None of these men are going to disrespect you. And there was one on the panel, and I said, if anybody come up here and disrespect her, I'm on their ass. They're not going to disrespect you. If you carry yourself a certain way, if men carry themselves a certain way, people are going to respect them. And they can have the adult, like a conversation with you. And women ain't this, men ain't that. We actually respecting each other and listening and offering advice. Because, men could offer advice for the ladies that have a son. They don't know this information in the same way around. Like, we're supposed to be learning from each other. But if we have the whole push.
You kind of bogged out, brother. But I tell you this. If we deal with more of what we want out of life versus what we don't want, we won't have a lot of issues, as black men. We got to get out of complaining about shit that don't, apply to us personally. I don't like to see married men complain about women. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be showing the brothers how to get a woman and have a successful marriage relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's just like getting counsel from someone in your church who experienced that life.
You ever heard the saying, and I like this saying, chew the meat and spit out the bones?
Yeah.
Spit out the bones? Yeah. So I think a lot more of that needs to happen in this space, in that guys need to take the information, and I think this is sometimes where the disconnect is. They don't know what bones to spit out.
True.
A lot of them don't know what bones to spit out.
Are the ones to carry.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I listened to Kevin Samuel's show, and it seems like so many women and even some of the guys look at Kevin like he they daddy, like like he's giving it. I'm like, where?
Fact.
Nobody ever taught you this. I'm like, nobody. And I'm like, God bless Kevin. I love his show. But I'm like, oh my God, if they're looking to a man on YouTube for guidance, this is we got some issues. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, we gotta actually talk to these young men, but we actually gotta have something good to present. Like once again, I say I put it on the men, no matter what some of the ladies do, 'cause you can't do all women together. Us men we gotta do better. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do better at our representation. Some brothers that got it going on or trying to do something need to link more and try to have balanced conversations because I mean, at the end of the day, man, like when it comes to how bad the community look, they look at us, they look at the men. We supposed to be the leaders. So, we could talk about women all day, but us men got to get it together because these women ain't waiting for us. They out here getting educated. They out here working. And listen, if you won't come cut the grass, they either pay somebody or they gonna start the lawnmower themselves.
And you know what, man? We're men from awkward stages in life in this space. I look at all four of us up here. You can tell we came from something, not to disrespect the other brothers who probably have not arrived to that level. That's why when you find brothers like us, we need to be able to tell the brothers, hey, look, man, this is how you get there. You can't be me, but let's find out what's unique about you. Let me give you something to believe in instead of all of the wrong things that are being taught in the space.
Yeah. We know what we lose that message, man, when we be at other panels, man, and brothers just be screaming at each other, man. Like, come on, man. Like, we could disagree, but as men, let's respect each other, opinions and differences, and let's represent and show people how we supposed to do it, man. I really don't like to see that, bro. I really don't.
You know what would be great? What would be great is maybe a weekly show of the married men to chop it up about things so that people can see, you know, the men who are successfully leading families and stuff like that.
Or
You know what I mean?
or even men who've been married, who've been through things,
To do things, yeah.
who has went on with their lives and not complain about what money she took and whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who know that, you know what? In spite of
I'll
it, they
definitely
can
be with that.
overcome. Yeah.
I'll definitely be
Because
with that.
I got a lot of friends that have been married, divorced, remarried,
Yeah.
or still single and dating successfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if we don't have the proper foundation, right? People from broken homes only know how to break up homes. So listen, the more I've been divorced before, but me and her, we're cool. But I can understand when you talk about childhood trauma and all that. Once you really start getting to the psychology of it all, it's hard to be mad at people when you understand where they come from and what they didn't learn. It's hard to be mad at them. You look at their circumstances and you look at yours. But we both had, our foundation wasn't solid. We were trying to learn the stuff we wasn't taught. You see what I'm saying?
And it's even better if you got married and y'all didn't have no kids. That was a blessing because
Yeah.
you didn't have no issues. But you got some guys that are still butthurt about that kind of shit and they ain't got no kids. This woman done went on with her life with somebody else and with your shit brand new and happy, and you still complaining on the panel.
Yep. Like if I told
Well,
my ex today, we would probably have, great conversation. There's no animosity. You know what I'm saying? We was just young and we both understood what it was. So there's nothing bad there. You know what I'm saying?
And not every divorce and ending of marriage is an Ike and Tina Turner type of situation. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? My brother divorced. He and his wife, they handled it like adults. They divided up the property. They got separate lawyers, but they didn't they didn't attack each other or assassinate each other. It was others' character on the way. They went their separate ways and did what they did. You know what I'm
And
saying?
you know what, man?
So-
is sometimes things just don't work out. And, you got some couples, man, that are just playing house. They're playing house and they lying to themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they're very unhappy. So when you're in a situation like that, it's time to move on. I know a woman would sit there and stay with you, you know what I'm saying, because of the laws of God and marriage and all of that. She would do that. But a man, he won't really you know, stick it there. But then again, you got those that are, they don't want to hurt each other, so they lying to each other. They're going off sneaking with other people in order to be happy. But the house part is great far as the finances. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I think if you, in order for you to be happy, you got to move on, just the way Pablo just said, with no
yeah.
problem.
Hey, get that. I wish that marriage counseling could be like a must. You know what I'm saying? Like a must to go through that marriage counseling and just to do the right process. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish that's something that a lot of people been through because it's a serious thing, man. Even when I went through my divorce, man, I took that shit seriously, man. Like because as a man, I felt like a failure. That's nothing I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? That messed me up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to waste time. And you definitely don't want to do it if there's kids involved. But certain circumstances are the way they are. But like when it comes to marriage, man, that's just important. That's just nothing to play with. And if it's not, if it's a joke to you, stay away from that because it's a sacred thing. And it's nothing to be disrespected at all.
Yeah, and whatever problems y'all have had, it becomes a situation to where either y'all gonna try to fix them or turn the page and go. And that's been the problem, like even in my marriage, when I was married, I had issues where, I know I didn't fuck up. I was a good man. I did everything I need to do, but I tried to, stick in there and see what was the issue. And every
Yeah,
time we got into it, we thinking we there, we would go back into blaming each other of what happened in the past.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what we had to just go on, with our life.
And that's
That's
why
why
you
I
got to
always tell.
know from the beginning, from for counseling and all that. Know if your partner is willing. If you ever have issues, to go work it out, to go to counseling. Know if they're willing to do that. So when stuff happens, you guys can go get tools. If you don't have the tools, it's going to be hard to get through. So just know that your partner, if we losing a spark, do you agree? Are you willing? If they're willing to do everything, as far as going to counseling or whatever it is, then yeah, that's where you want to be because you have some couples or some partners that don't want to go. The other one want to go, and it takes a team effort. So you can't fight together if you don't have the proper tools. So you got to be willing to get those tools.
You know what I like when
That's
you say partner, because even in this space they teach you not to say partner, meaning you should be in for a marriage. But we do have brothers in this space. Quiet is
Yeah,
kept. We don't like to talk about it. That do live alternative lifestyle. So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're talking about your partners, hey,
Oh my bad.
you need to be the same way. I guess I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
discriminate.
I always refer back to that struggle bond where you got a lot of guys in this space who only deal with guys that went through something. Some of them they seriously, and I always say this to the guys that went through a lot of stuff, man. Seek help. Work with some people that been through this. Learn a way to get out of this, mindset. And for the ones that just out here, because you really you ain't got no friends or something, I don't know, but you just weird, man. So I'm like, this struggle bond stuff is real. I keep telling guys, dudes are literally coming on here trying to find somebody to be friends with because this is the internet, man. You turn on that, you open that YouTube, you the president of the United States. For anybody that don't know, man, you can be Barack Obama. You can come on here as Barack Obama and catfish everybody, telling people about policies and procedures. Charles, prime example. Charles talk a lot about him being an officer. I've literally heard guys come on talk about certain things that he's been referring to on his panel, and these guys ain't did nothing on law, ain't sit up there and became no type of police, but they'll sit here and just regurgitate stuff that they hear on panels just to make themselves more influential when they come on the
yeah.
panel. This is like these guys. I don't even shite this whole what's it, game versus Mac or whatever, all this stuff. I literally hear guys that come on here talk this old player talk and this and that stuff, and I'm like, man, chill, man. Like, if you're gonna do that, just do it. Like that whole G's moving silent.
You talking
Come on
about
the
that
panel.
dirty macking. Dirty Mac.
Nah, I ain't talking about the dirty Mac. I'm talking about the guys on here be up there talking about they pimping and getting women, but then they ain't got nothing to show for. They, they ain't camming up. They can't pull a woman. Hey, come over and get like. Shout out to Ism. Ism did that when the dude called Ism Blood. Ism pulled the girl straight to the phone or whatever. Like, hey, come talk to these fellas over here. And it ain't a lot of dudes that did that. And the dudes that did do that, they try to shame them. Oh well, she don't look good, or she don't sound like come on, man, get all this kitty stuff out. When you pull somebody card and then they come back, then you ain't got nothing to say, but she ugly. Like, come on, man, cut all this stuff out.
Thing is, we not telling each other the truth, nor are we telling our true stories as to what our problems are, and that's why we really got to get a segment in from health all the way down to mental health. A lot of guys suffer with ED. And they won't talk about that. A lot of guys won't talk about the fact that they are just, proportionally out of shape. Not saying that because you're a big boy that you can't find a woman. But at the same time, we need to really deal with what your real issue is. And it ain't all the time a woman. It's just the fact that maybe you don't like women. Maybe you can't get a woman. Maybe your health is off. Maybe you're just not in the right place at the right time. And maybe you're not the lead of what's considered as desirable,
Yeah.
And you find the same guy that would get on the panel, he would complain about everything in that's trending, even the alphabet community, and they complain even about them. And guess what? My thing is, I'm not even in that life, but I've heard guys say, well, shit, man, if a woman don't want you, what make you think I want you? I mean, and that's the truth. I had to think about that shit.
Yeah, but hey, guys, hey, I'm getting ready to get off. Listen, shout out to everybody that's married. Peace and blessings, and shout out to everybody that's in the chat that's married, or if you just looking for love, peace and blessings to you. Hey, don't let nobody tell you that's negative. If they don't like it, that's fine. But hey, it's nothing wrong with that. I wish all love, all success, all blessings. I gotta go get my little man from daycare.
All right, man.
Hey, brother, do you have a channel?
I started one, but I have really done nothing with it. But when I do, I'll be back around. I'll let y'all know.
Okay, well, I'm interviewing men for a documentary, Married Men, to show the good in black men and what we stand for. And I would like to interview you. I don't have a problem with that. My channel is Narratives and Dialogues with Kwafi Nino. I do everything documentary style.
Okay, that's what's up. And I'll put my email in the chat, in the private chat.
Yeah, do that, brother. Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a blessed day.
But yeah, man, I don't know if any of you heard Bernard Riley's show yesterday. But on his show yesterday, he had a brother giving out financial advice, and he was giving people good advice, but he was only giving half the information. And so let me tell you what he said. How many of you up here are homeowners? Are either of you two both homeowners?
I have been homeowner. I got my first house at 19, and I had I had one. Just put it away. I moved out to California.
Right.
Solely.
Right. Okay. But you understand real estate and how real estate is an appreciating asset, right?
Yes, sir.
And the concept of equity, right? You understand that. So
Yes,
that when you buy a home over time, that property increases in value most of the time. There are bumps here and there, but overall, in general, real estate prices go up, not down, right? So one of the things he was saying, he was encouraging men to get out of debt. He was like, well, if you're in debt, you're a slave. I agree with that, right? In general, when you are in debt, you are a slave to the debtor, right? You got credit card debts and student loan debts and all of that kind of stuff. That is bad debt. You got a big old car that you can't that you're paying too much for every month to the bank. You got a problem. You got to get out of that. That's consumer debt. But with a mortgage, I didn't agree, right? And I explained to them why I didn't agree about a mortgage. In 1941, my grandfather bought a house for $365. We just sold that property of that house for $203,000. So and my home, I'll just use my house as an example. My home I bought for $148,000 in 2003 in a suburb here in Atlanta. It's 2021 now. That same house is worth $225,000 from 148, right? So I have an appreciating asset. I have equity. I have almost more than 90 some odd $1,000 in equity, right? So I have more coming back to me. If I were to sell that house, I would get a cash payout of 90 some odd $1,000, right? So that is an example of how a mortgage or home ownership helps you to build wealth. Well, he was telling them, oh well, you still a slave. Oh well, you're a slave. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're a slave because you're paying rent to somebody. They're taking the money that you give them, and they are getting wealthier with your money, right? So it's okay if you can't afford to buy a home and you want to pay rent until you can get to a place where you can buy a home. But what I think what he was doing was he was trying to oversimplify something that's complex, right? And the idea of real estate is not 1 + 1 = 2, right? You got percentage rates, you got what they call amortization, and you got what's called equity. So he was trying to oversimplify to make himself look good on YouTube, to make it seem like a novel idea that, oh, everybody's a slave, don't ever get into debt. That's an oversimplification, right? You don't get into debt for consumer stuff, for non-appreciating stuff. You only get to go into debt for things that appreciate, right? Or large purchases that you could otherwise not buy, right? And then you get out of them as fast as you can. But anyway, I was just using that as an example of how a lot of times people will give information in this space, in this arena, but they only give pieces of the information. They don't have the rest of the story.
And you're right about that, Pablo, because and you know we talked before. I had a home in Swanee, Johns Creek. So
Oh wow, that's where I work.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right there off of Buford Drive and all up through that way, Satellite Boulevard. And the thing
very
is,
familiar.
man, those homes, and you know how beautiful they are. I had a John Whelan home. I did not live
Oh,
behind.
that's that good stuff. That's that good stuff right there. That John Whelan. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not I didn't live in a gated community, but when you go a little bit past where I live, where
Yeah,
all
I
those
know where you're talking about. Oh, those
housewives
are
of
nice.
Atlanta, yeah, where the
Yeah.
housewives of Atlanta people live, their
Yep.
homes were behind gates, a country club.
Right.
You
So
know,
you were right across the street from Country Club of the South. I mean,
that's
excuse me,
right.
Country Club of Sugarloaf.
Yes, sir. Right, right. You're right, Sugarloaf. And the thing
Gotcha.
is, the point I'm making, man, you want a good investment. Who's to say that because you go into that neighborhood that black people can't live there? And I don't get what this guy talking about being a slave, because anything you put your money into, you should look at it as an investment. When it comes to home. Now, all this other bullshit, he talking about, far as
Right.
renting an
Credit
apartment.
cards and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you've been through anything broken, you know the struggle. So the thing is, it's common sense that you're gonna be like, well, look, fuck this Macy's card, fuck this Neiman Marcus card. Let me just get one Navy Federal credit card with a large amount on it, and I pay that just one. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? And that's what we need to think about. With me, man, I gotta say, being a young man, I have had everything that a young man ever dreamed of wanting, including a marriage. You know what I'm saying? And right to this day, I still got things. But when you look at it, they're just things. You know, and anybody can get them now. I won't put myself in debt anymore. Anything I buy now, I buy with cash and I buy straight out. I even shop on Facebook Marketplace.
My mom is the king of that. She furnished her house pretty much off of that. She has two really nice, expensive pieces that she bought. The rest of it, Facebook Marketplace and thrift shops.
And when you go to the thrift store, go to the one out in Buckhead and Goodwill and Buckhead somewhere. Further
I heard about that.
Bowery Branch where the white folks at.
Talking about off of Roswell Road, right down the road.
Yeah, or even further than that, Alpharetta.
Yeah, Alpharetta got some decent ones. I go over there like I was buying like little cabinets and stuff like that, especially because that furniture is real wood. Like I literally got a solid oak table. It got scratched up over the time dealing with the kids. I ended up getting another one. And the first one I had, it was custom made. And the chairs, everything was custom, all that stuff, man. Dude at my job, I used to work at this moving company. This guy literally tried to give me like $600 for it at first. And I was like, nah, man, I'm not selling because I already knew. I'm like, you're going to pay $600. I know it's worth more. You know, I had got them all the way up to $1,000, but I'm like, if you're going to give me $1,000, like, I'm not selling this to you. I'm trying to sell it to somebody else, but hopefully my wife, she loves it so much, I just kept it. But, you know, at the same time, I mean, like good solid wood, man. A lot of people, they always go get this IKEA stuff.
And the plywood, you're right, Cheat. And I always tell them too. I be like, you know, being a person that's been in design, I know quality. So I'm not going to be going somewhere paying you $2,000-$3,000 for something that's plywood. You know, we got to know the difference between real wood. And the thing is, with black people, we always put our house together with this black lacquer furniture or this wood, this plywood, and everything look the same.
Gotta think about the mindset, man. You know, that's the thing with this whole thing with dudes talking about with the money. I mean, come on. When you really look at it, buying a house, investment, like I got a house, I used to have a house in Snellville, moved back into the city over by Gresham. You know, my wife didn't want to stay over there, but I'm like, man, this is an upcoming over here. I'm like, from the time we moved out to Snellville, seeing how the house is being built over there, I was looking at a house off Covington, but that one fell through. As soon as these ones was Gresham opened back up, I ran and jumped on it. And my wife was like, I don't know. Like this ain't it. We've been there for like 2 years. Like the house is worth more. I mean,
Oh yeah.
10,000-15,000 more. And
You know,
now
yep.
they put the sidewalks in. Once they put sidewalks in, then you start having more developers come in around there. They bought up
Values go up. Yep.
Exactly.
you know what town that I think that really came up really good, because a lot of people, especially black people, were against buying the old houses in Grant Park. Look at that now. Look at it now.
Yeah.
That's closer downtown.
In the 2000s, he did it. He bought like 6 houses down there in Grant Park around 2000, in that area around 2000 and into 2010 or so. And he made bank. He ended up buying some land out in, I think, Powder Springs, like $500,000. I forgot, it was like, I knew it was over 10 acres, like $500,000. He was gonna put a shopping center and all that out on there just from the houses he got over there in Grant Park area, you know. And a lot of people, they were keeping their houses. There's a lady I knew that when I used to do my own personal transportation business, she fooled around, had a house. They were trying to buy her house for $500,000 right off of Keller Road and Memorial Drive. And they literally kept pressuring her, like trying to find every little loophole. Her yard wasn't pruned. The shutters wasn't looking right. They started even trying to implement some type of community dress code to where all the houses need to have a pine straw on the street, just like an HOA. They were just pushing this whole thing in the community. They're trying to get most of the black people out, but
the
generally
next thing
our house was sitting on the acre.
And you know what? The next thing they would have done was did an eminent domain type situation and try to zone it differently, and
Yeah,
that's what they do a lot too.
yeah. They got that way in East Atlanta. Because East Atlanta, you pay 2 taxes. You can't and Atlanta tax. I mean,
But
it's
yeah, man,
crazy.
I just yeah, property values are going up all over Atlanta. I mean, they're ringing my phone off the hook right now, trying to get me to sell.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it because I like where I live, and I'm not going anywhere. But you let that number hit that number in my head that I got, and I might do it. But until then, I ain't going nowhere. And so yeah, I was just trying to point out to this guy. I'm like, look, man, there are nuances to this conversation that you aren't bringing up. And I think that gets lost a lot of times in this YouTube space is, the details.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when I
It,
start my panels, man, I'm gonna deal with people I know that are intelligent and who really are that specialize in these things. You know, like I think our group is pretty cool. You know, like we got Alonzo. Who else we got?
Mike Shinery, he talks about stocks. He talks about tech. You got young young Grizzly. He talks about coding. I mean, he literally goes on there, give people information about coding, looking up his channel. Just free. I mean, just in general. You got Real Deal Finance. He talks about buying houses. Wacky World TV was over there. Him, all those guys are literally over there talking about buying and selling. You know, trying to get into real estate, trying to buy franchise business, looking at stocks. Seeing what's the best option when you buying these stocks. Buying them for pennies on a dollar, hold them and let them go. See, a lot of
Oh
people they
yeah.
want to buy high. When you buy Bitcoin now at this price, of course you losing out. Right? I don't understand that, guys. They want to ride the wave going up. No, when it goes down, that's when you grab it. When it ride, then you ride back up and be successful. Don't sit up there when it's riding all the way up. Bitcoin was at 30,000, you buying it at 40,000, then it got to 60. Yeah, you got a little bit, but when guys are saying buying it at 3,000 a year or some ago, that's when you should have been on the move.
And let me
Even
tell
I
you.
tell guys, putting a little bit in a time means something.
And let me
Go ahead.
tell you, there's a young YouTuber in this space, Wall Street J. If you know who he is, Wall Street
Yeah.
J he's headed toward being a millionaire. He's 23 fucking years old, and talking the same shit we talking.
Even with Shakanulu in the chat, he talks about that. Getting people to get involved in the electrician. A lot of guys, there's so many guys in this space that can help people, but everything get overshadowed by the woman talk. I mean, I understand we have an issue with the women in the community, but if our main focus is the women, we don't know how to make money. We don't know how to build this whole generational wealth. I tell guys, like, when Alonzo was talking about different life insurance, I always got up on the game because I'm like, oh, he know what he's talking about. I got this in policy. One of the policies that he talked about, Liberty, I got them a couple of years ago. I got a universal life insurance because I was only under the impression it was just two. Either your term or your whole life. Then, the universal life is a step ahead of that. It goes off the market. Right now, I got $100,000 policy within that. It's already at 115. I mean, 115. 1,500. 1,015. No, 115,000. I'm sorry. 115,000. I made 15,000 just off the market doing so good in my life insurance. They pretty much said by the time I turn 78, everything going as a plan, just the way the market is now. If it does great, if it does better, I'm gonna make even more. But at this stand right now, I'm gonna gain $3 million by the time I turn 78. So let's say I don't get to 78. I'm still gonna get like 1.5, 2 million into my policy. And I'm like, dude, I'm worried about trying to buy $1 million policy. Like, I got several other policies behind that one. I was so used to trying to get caught up on that, not knowing that I bought a policy that's gonna hit my $1 million, hopefully before I die. Not only that, I got 2 policies right now on my younger kids. I'm gonna get 2 more of my older kids dealing with Alonzo.
And you say that's called
By
universal
the time
life?
my kids get 21, universal life insurance. and it's an index, universal life index. It goes off the
Okay.
market. And the crazy part about that is, I got that too for my two younger kids that are 10 now, twin boys that are 10. By the time
Well, I'm
they
gonna
turn
get me
21,
some of that.
they're gonna have $10,000 invested into their policy. Hey, it's only right, man. And the more money you put in, the more it grows.
Turn left onto
You know,
Abbott
then like I tell
Court.
people, not only I'm buying this life insurance just for not even death, I'm buying it for life because when everybody's complaining about the banks not loaning money, I can go borrow money off my life insurance. Like, how easy is that? Like, I can get myself money,
Into Abbott
pay myself back. Like, it's a no-brainer. I tell guys, like, you're thinking about life insurance to where, man, I'm not gonna put all this money in here so somebody, when I die, they can get it. No, man, you're using this for future business deals. You know, there's an older guy I know, he wanted to go buy a brand new truck. Dude went in his life insurance policy, pulled about $4,000 out of there, went and financed him a brand new truck, and he's paying it back on it now. Easy, you know. His credit was shot, but he knew he had to put a little bit more money up to get the truck. Snatched out his life insurance. Like, easy as kept. A lot of guys, they looking at, man, I don't want to leave nobody no money to do. You're doing this for future reference for yourself. You start when you're young, the policy's automatically going to be cheaper. And I tell guys, the older you get, you know, you're going to pay a little more. But the point of it is, it's generational wealth, man, helping you out long term. And I tell guys, even if you don't have kids, you got nieces and nephews, you got family member friends, somebody you can actually get his money to help. My uncle put me over his policy when he passed. Out of all my nieces, out of all his nieces and nephews that were older than me, he put me over his policy. I took care of his funeral, buried him at veterans cemetery. Plot, all that was paid. All I had to do was the funeral arrangement. I paid pretty much all his money, went strictly towards the funeral. Willie Watkins had a real nice service for him. Same thing with my grandma, man. Like, it's needed. Like, in my family, my grandma was the only one out of my family that died with no insurance, and it was because my crazy uncles let the policy lapse. And the only thing they did was he was stuck. They gave the money that he actually initially put in, but other than that, the policy lapsed. You know, it's like really nothing too much they can do. You let the policy lapse, so we're not gonna pay the benefit. We're not gonna pay the benefits out. You know, other than that, everybody else in my family who died, life insurance, nobody had to fight over. Do a fish fry, do a GoFundMe. You know, go around begging people in the community. No, the money was already there. See, a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, because you know what though, Chief, that's a very embarrassing type situation to have to do a GoFundMe, but yet this dude was supposed to be the baller in the community. You know what I'm saying? And he died, but he didn't have a policy. He didn't have his shit together before he died. Now, what I am thinking that most black men need to do is either get with some kind of insurance that whole life insurance on their job as well.
Yeah, I have life insurance through my job. It's 3 times my yearly salary. But I want to supplement it with you know with this life insurance that uh, Ski is talking about.
Get in
You
touch
know.
with Alonzo. I'll put Alonzo
Okay.
in the chat. He's on YouTube. Like I said,
Yeah,
he'll
Universal
set
Life.
you up.
Yeah.
Universal
All
Life
right.
the Index. And he'll hook you up, man. Like I said, he got that for my kids. You know, and I'm paying a decent amount for that. And I'm about to go ahead and get my 2 older kids policy. You know, it's a win-win. You know, and that's for their future. He had a policy that he could give me that was, I mean, even if I wanted to just go ahead and pay it off, he gave me a policy for about $6,000 that I could have paid for 20 years for my kids because they're young, you know, and it would have paid for 20 years for them to get $50,000 worth of death coverage. But that was just for term, you know. But then we had the discussion. And we end up doing it this way because it's more beneficial for them, where they can roll it over to the family when they get married, or just have it available for the other family members in need of something that was happening. A lot of guys just not thinking along those lines, man. Like I keep saying, whether you be married or you're single, you're gonna need to be stable in life, where it comes with your money, your job, having, just a stable job, in a market to where if something happens, can you get another job? And I listen to the lady Erica Williams. She always talks about guys being 40 and 50 years old trying to restart new careers. You learn a little bit. You learn a little bit on a slower pace. Even though you have all the intellect, you're older, you can read, but the learning curve is harder because you got to start something new. And most people, when they get to a certain age, they like the norm. They don't want to break that learning curve to where, man, I got to learn how to do this. I got to learn. No, they just like everything simple, keeping it the same. So, men, we got to talk about this stuff. Oh yeah, and with Lonzo, what Nino was just talking about, there was a guy Lonzo had. He did a life insurance policy for the guy for $50,000, and I think it was a term policy. And most of those policies don't go into effect until after like the first year or second year. So literally, this guy talked to him about a policy for $100 for $50,000 worth of coverage. Now, the guy goes, I want to say about 2 years and passed. And now, no policy ever got it from Lonzo. His daughter is trying to get a GoFundMe for $10,000 to bury him. But this guy was putting $50 on Bitcoin every month. He had like a King Ranch F-150. So that's an upscale. That's not the regular kind. That's more upscale than King Ranch. So he's paying a little more for that. And he was putting $50 a month in Bitcoin. He could have took an extra $50 and put it on there and $100 for his life insurance. So essentially, when he died, left nothing to his daughter. Needed money to be buried. The car, if it wasn't paid off, like the bank has to get that. The Bitcoin, if they didn't know the password to his account, they can't sell that. That's a lot. That's just in there for history. So that's in there for the books. You can't get that Bitcoin. And let's even say with his house. The process on them selling that house before, the funeral arrangement for him to be buried, they have to do something like a quick sale or, dealing with guys like We Buy Houses to where they give them cash up front, put them on a contract, and then settle everything later. People don't even know the ins and outs. They just, come in. I learned a little bit. I'm good. I don't need to learn nothing. That's what I keep saying about the space that we're in now. These young guys didn't come over here to learn. So is these older guys as well, man. Don't be ashamed that you don't know nothing. If you're that much ashamed, stay in the back. Just stay in the back of the class and just listen.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to say you don't know nothing, because there are a lot of things a lot of guys did not know, even with, like I'm in the fashion business, and I have run into a whole bunch of brothers that are like, yeah, man, I think I'm going to need you to, I said, hold up. I don't work for nobody. I don't do work for people. I do work for my own name and my own business and my own collection. Now, you can take some classes up with me so that I could teach you these things so you could go to fashion school. Because what they thought it was going to be easy being a designer by just going straight to print up some hats and print up some t-shirts. That should be ill-fitted. It ain't for a regular. It's not for industry. That's industry. It ain't even for industry standard bodies. Because you have to be well, proportioned. When you're doing industry standards, but because I don't do just industry standards, I do things for real body types. And I keep telling them, you ever bought a t-shirt like at a store, a flea market, or maybe even at Ross, and it say one size, but when you get home and you put it on, it's something different. It don't fit right.
Right. It doesn't hang on your body correctly. I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
Even in
Yeah.
the neckline is very important, you know. So they don't understand that. So being a designer, man, you have to factor in a whole bunch of different things. But they want to argue me down about what a designer was, and I started giving them the language all the way down from apparel and construction, you know, moulage, fit, and alteration, all the way down to, you know, building a collection, you know, fashion illustration, you know, and pattern making
Like, you know,
and
talk
tailoring.
about the pants. Talk about the
Oh yeah,
pants.
it's involved.
About the way the zippers made, the way the zippers cut on the pants, the size, the structure of the pants, how they fit.
Not even that. They don't even understand that the fit of a male pair of pants. You know, it's a shame that a lot of guys don't know their pant size, you know, and they don't understand that the difference in between a woman's pair of pants and a man pair of pants. A man's crotch is 7 to 9, a woman is 3 to 5. That's how you can tell if a man is wearing a pair of woman pants. You know, it don't fit.
Yeah. Even the European standard on those pants as well, like you said, how the crotches are made.
Not even on black bodies, you know, because we got something totally different going on.
Yep.
Which reminds me, since you are a fashion designer and expert in that area, one of the things that I noticed, and I did a video on this on my channel, a lot of black men in this particular space, they are reluctant to accept professional advice from a professional in a particular area. I give you an example. A conversation was going on about leadership, right? And what leadership is. A career military man, a career senior master sergeant in the Army, laid out the definition of what leadership was. Do you know these Negroes tried to argue him down? That ain't it. That's not what it is. This and that. And I'm like, dude, I was like, do you know when to recognize somebody that might be an expert in that particular area? Here you have a career 30-year military man damn near who's been to leadership schools for for the strongest, most dominant military on the face of the earth, and you're gonna tell him his definition of leadership is wrong and yours is right. So sometimes it gets a little comical around here, and when you started running down, uh, all the specifics about fashion design, and all sounded very cogent, very clear, and made sense. I stepped back and I said, yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about. He has the details. He can explain to you why, right? I accept his expertise in that area. We got so many people, so many guys who, when presented with an expert in a particular field, you got the lead attorney talking about law, you got JT, the pocket watcher talking about accounting and money and numbers, who's a certified uh, a financial advisor, and people will literally argue them down about what they know. And I'm like, dude, do you know when to fall back?
And you know what? That's even on. I don't know if I can say this, but if she'd okay with it.
Yeah, you
So,
can say names over
okay,
here.
on Grandmaster Troll's channel, I had to stop listening to his channel, and I've seen you up there too. I was up there before. I had to stop listening to his channel, man, because you know he put things out there just to get audiences, and no matter what it is, he'll just put it out there, and it don't be the correct information. And he's one of those doxing type people. You know, he gonna go and look you up and look up all kind of information. You know, and sometimes it may not even be the right information. But one thing,
Yeah, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous when you start, yeah, trying to dox people and stuff like that. People can lose their jobs, their livelihoods, and mess up family relations and all kinds of stuff when people do that kind of stuff.
yeah, if he doing shit like that to be vindictive, man, that's a problem. Now, if you were, trying to check something out to make sure that you're doing the right thing yourself, because you do have brothers that will that as soon as you mention things like rape or child molestation, they don't want to hear about it. They don't want you to talk about it. The reason why they don't want to talk about it, because for one, they feel that it's not uh, appropriate to talk about it, or either they may have been falsely accused themselves. And if that's the case, hey, just say, hey, look, man, I'm one of those that were falsely accused, and I don't really want to talk about it. I feel bad about it, or whatever the case may be. Let's explain to us, what went on, if you chose to, But the thing is, you can't be somebody that where you got a lot of people following you, and you get upset because somebody has come up and stated that this guy went to prison for raping a 12-year-old girl. You remember that, right?
Is that about one of the I think it was Brother Polite was following a guy that
Yeah, yeah,
was doing it. Yeah,
and they
yeah,
was
yeah.
upset about it,
Uh huh.
because and it's just like Derek Jackson, when people find out things that you just was that you're not really who you are, of course they're gonna unfollow you. Of course they're gonna be upset.
Yeah,
You know,
that's different. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Yeah, yeah. That if you just outright lying to folk and committing crimes and doing all that, no, you ought to be doxxed. You're right. Yeah, you ought to be called out.
yeah, because I'm not gonna sit up here and call you a leader and you lead me, bro. It's just some things that you just can't do. I mean, before I was a fashion designer, I was a correction officer. I have a master's in criminology, and I've always been in law enforcement, so I know the laws. I don't get up on the panel and try to debate people with it, because I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna do that with them. But I I'm that type person. When I worked in law enforcement, I worked in the prison. If you're a person that has raped children, serial rapists, and done things like that, you can't come to me complaining about the guy in the cell next door making a lot of noise. This is not motherfucking Holiday Inn. Lay down and lick your nuts and do your fucking time. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel about
I
it.
like that.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to, and you get some of the most people have committed some of the most gruesome crimes will come at you like that and think you're supposed to feel sorry for them. I'm just not. That if you wrote a bad check, you maybe even took some money, did some kind of scam like that, I think it's wrong for you to get better, but it's just certain things that can't be erased. You raping children, you being a child molester. I have a problem with that.
I put Alonzo link in the chat, Pablo. Like I said, it's the universal index. The whole life. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think Pablo dropped off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, man, when it come down to it, man, like I say, guys gotta start talking more about this money, trying to get processes together, the jobs and everything else. Because me and Kane had this talk. And when it comes down to it, the community needs to change. The men need to do it. Why we have these conversations talk about how the women need to do this, but nah, the men need to change. We change the environment. If the women don't want to change, don't deal with it. Simple as that. I don't have to deal with a woman, on the license of, we start talking about being black. Like I said, my wife's Jamaican. I want to be a black wife. Just so happy she's from Jamaica. You know, if I had an ADOS woman, that would have been perfect too. But if they were, to the standard, not even just put all the drama. Like I said this on one stream before. Every woman I dealt with, I basically told them, here's some situations how L. Dixon was saying. there's some situations that that are in play, and let's work on this for us to be together. If she came to me with the same thing, I would have worked with that too. Because I'm not perfect. I'm not telling guys that I'm 100 on that. I'm moving a certain way, just like she moving a certain way. And when it comes down to it, like, what's going on? Can you hear me, Nino? In a minute, I think about 4:30 this time.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. I was just answering LaShawn's question in the chat. I told him, he could. I guess he could come up if you let him come up.
Yeah, he come up.
Yeah, but
I'm about to get ready to close. I'm about to get ready to close out in a minute anyway, because perfect timing on. About to close out and probably like the next.
Oh yeah, we didn't even go over there, man, did we?
Yeah,
I guess we can close out. I'll go over there.
Minutes. Yeah, about next 15, 20 minutes, I'm gonna close out. Go over there and support him as well. But it's like this is the biggest thing. In order for the community to work, man, just like the guys we were talking about earlier, marriage is the key. And being men that are not getting married, you need to be uplifting the community.
Uplifting the community or making something positive of yourself, regardless. If you don't want the girlfriend, you don't want the wife, go find something. You know what I'm saying, and make yourself productive. And make a difference. And because when it all boils down to it, we all black men, we need to be able to have something to offer. LaShawn want to know what the subject is. I think it's an offspring of what we talked about on the Roger Report today, where we had a brother by the name of Thought that had some things we trying to come to agreement on, but I guess that never happened. Did he ever come over here, Chief?
No, he didn't come over here. There wasn't Roger Chan over here. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Roger all political correct. Man, you better get out of here with it. White man ice is better. I'm like, man, it ain't even like the whole topic wasn't even about nothing about race. I can't stand guys who want to race debate 24/7, man. Like, dude, the standard is white people that make you rob no bank. Your ass rob a fucking bank. Like, get out of here with this shit, man. And then, man, see, this is the reason why we ain't got that for my people, man, because these people be holding us down. See, the Mexicans, they come taking all the jobs. Yeah, they gonna take the job that your ass don't want to do. That's why when guys sit there and talk about how the Mexicans come up take the job, yeah, because you don't want to fucking go work at the sanitation place. You don't want to go build a house. These are the jobs that was prevalent in the community, with Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street didn't just pop up and everybody in the black community, in Greenwood were just so happy with each other like that. No, it took time and effort in the community. Everybody working together. This whole dress code thing was a thing, man. You treated people with decency and this whole moral ethics and all this stuff. Man, you work with people who work with you.
And you know what I think? Like I said, they got messed up. Was the fact that they thought that, people were going against you being what we call keeping it real and keeping it hood. No, but it's just certain things even people in the hood have to do whatever the occasion calls for. Like, you're not going to go up and twerk at a church convention. You're not going to do that. You're not going to twerk at the beautiful restaurant, as we talked about. They have a standard Pascal's restaurant. These were civil rights people, historians, ate at Dr. King and all that. They still have that respect for their brand right now. People, grandmothers and grandfathers and, people that really were a part of our community, but one thing I can say, it is universal, especially in Atlanta. You got Morehouse, Spelman, Morris Brown, Clark Atlanta University, all those universities around there. They have standards. But outside of that, when you go around by Ashby and Martin Luther King, you'll see all of that. You know, so it just depends. You know, one side of the street is one thing, one side of the street is another.
And quiet as kept, it always been two classes. Everybody keep talking about, oh man, it's gonna split. It been split. You got the people that really want something more for themselves, and the people that are just living to get by. At the end of the day, man, yeah, I can stay in the hood and my kids can do things, or I can move out the hood. I'm not gonna lose my blackness. I'm not gonna lose my black card because I want to go live in the suburbs and get out the rough neighborhood. Who wants the worst environment for their kids to be raised so they can keep their blackness? No, man. That blackness is not in the hood, it's in you. Like that's what I don't understand when it comes to people doing this. Like I gotta Nipsey, they were talking all this, oh Nipsey, Nipsey stay hood and he loyal. And look, he met his demise.
And I was
even with people who
and
out
look,
the hood, they
and
still
look,
that way.
and me and Cam Robb was right there when that man got shot. We saw it right there. We were visiting LA, Hollywood, and was coming back up toward Northern California and saw all this shit go down, And the thing is, I love my hood. I'm not from the hood, but I love the places I have frequent, and I love where my family have lived. I didn't have that experience, but I'm not going to put myself in harm's way to compromise how I like to live, if that makes sense. I want to be able to be comfortable and wake up to fresh air and do as I please. You know what I'm saying? Without having to worry about a bullet getting shot through my window. Like we were talking about, you said a few weeks ago over about where my sister lived and where you live, y'all heard gunshots.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy, And you can't only think about just yourself. If you got young children and young boys, you got to think about them because you probably can handle living in the hood.
Yeah. Kids can't. That's why I tell man, like one of my cousins, his dad is J-Bo from Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, and his uncle I don't know if you're familiar with Columbia Drive. There's a place called Neil's Body Shop and everything, right down from Glenwood.
Right by Charles Tires and all that.
Yeah, I think so. And nice little, little place. Matter of fact, no, I think that's one different. He's right up from I guess they would call it Wayfield. They done changed the name so many times. Right when you get over Columbia and Glenwood.
Wait a minute, are you talking about where y'all seen Fish Supreme?
No. Nah, right where Columbia and Glenwood meet where that Checkers at.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
If you cross over there where that McDonald's used to be at crossover, they got a little grocery store over there on the side. And right from that grocery store, there's a little body shop right there in that little next to the plaza. And dude owned that. He owned it. That body shop. He be doing all kind of crazy stuff for cars, look good. But family by marriage and all that stuff. And my cousin, this dude crazy. Dreads. He's wilding out on all kind of stuff, smoking weed. So he fooled around. One day was up there with dude, and he was like, "Yeah, man." He said, "Man, you need to let your little son come over here so we can show him how it is, cause he look like a nerd. He pointed at you." Man, that dude Neil told him. He said, "Dude, why you think I took my son and put him in private school, got him out the hood, and the only time he see like hood stuff is when he come down to my shop. I want better for my kids. I don't want my kids to live and be just like me." He said, "What man wants the same environment that they lived in to be pushed on to their kids if it's not a better life?" And a lot of people just don't get that, even in this community right here on YouTube. You want better for your kids. You want just better life for people. Why would you want to, implement something like that on your kids? That's crazy.
But that's that mindset that they have, man. When me and you probably were growing up, we probably you've seen where you had dudes that'll be like, if you're a person that took a job, I'm talking about even right after high school or right even in high school, or if you came to school with a shirt and tie on or a bow tie on and you got a briefcase, you was considered gay.
Yeah. Gay, nerds, all kind of stuff trying to implement, the way you look. You don't look the part some to this degree and that degree.
But you know what though? Until you had a polo on with that, then you weren't considered because you were in then.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end it because I'm gonna let get over there the perfect time. Everybody shout out, everybody that came through. Appreciate y'all, man. I wanted to go ahead and have thought up here so he can give his little thought for what he wanted to say or who he wanted to be. But I guess he didn't want to come to the barbecue.
Yeah, apparently it didn't happen, and a lot of people saying good things in the chat. Y'all continue to keep coming over here, man, because if y'all can see us, we said this before. If we can entertain y'all on other big channels, come on back over here too, so that we can talk about the things that maybe y'all want to hear, or maybe we left out. Because when we're on other people's panels, we have to respect their panels. But these are the things that we really feel strongly about. But don't forget to subscribe and like.
Yeah, Nino, you need to go ahead and get your channel and everything boosted up so you can go ahead and start doing your lives as well, man.
Yeah, I'm doing it in a order because I'm doing a series first. Like I told you, everything you saw in the introduction video is what I'm putting out first.
Okay.
And then I'll go live. It's more like birthing, a channel.
And I want everybody who on my channel right now, if you go to Perfect Timing Podcast, go over there and troll him. And everybody get over there in the chat. Just put Sheed. Everybody just keep putting Sheed in the chat like the first 2 minutes. When you go over there, that's all I'm gonna do. Just start throwing Sheed in the chat for like the first 5 minutes.
Hey y'all, and I thank Sheed for boosting up everyone, in the space, because we all got something good that y'all can take something from. My channel is Narratives and Dialogues with Kwafi Nino Abdinabi. That's Narratives and Dialogues with Kwafi Nino Abdinabi. Subscribe. It is documentary based, and we'll be doing lives after the whole series because I got people that are looking at me trying to see if I can do a real show.
Yeah, man. Like I said, when y'all go over the Perfect Timing, y'all first get in there, just keep putting Sheed and just keep putting we here, one or the other. Keep putting Sheed and we here. So, last thoughts, anything else you got to say before I end it?
Oh no, man. I was gonna put my my link in the chat real quick. Give me a minute to do that.
All right. But yeah, man. Shout out to Tesseract. If you see the thumbnail, that's actually one of my homeboys' clothing line. And like I said, I'm gonna be promoting his line. Try to get people to go over there, start buying his clothes, and go from there. I got another sponsor. I'm actually gonna start promoting on my channel as well. And black business is real, man. We need to support each other, even with a turkey leg cut, man. Guys had all that running and talking and everything about, but I keep saying it. If you don't like, man, just don't go, to be honest. I mean, because that's the biggest part of all this. A lot of people have issue with things in the community which they want to talk about being so bad, but at the end of the day, like, where's the support? Like, we need to start supporting each other more, being on top of, dealing with each other. And a lot of people don't want to, push that forward.
And you know what? And in my closing, what I'll say, like I said, people, even in my establishment, I don't give a damn if you get mad at me or not. You ain't gonna come in there with bad hygiene. Your hair, your nails, everything, and it's for men and women. You ain't gonna come in my establishment smelling like weed, smelling like horse breath, and you ain't gonna come in with your butt hanging out. And it's crazy. It's always the bigger sloppy dudes that do that shit. And I'm like, dude, come on now. People already talk about you because you're big, and you come in there with your butt all out. I don't even like to see it on slim dudes. So you can't come in my place like that. I'm sorry. I don't want to see your butt.
Yeah. And like I say, always, with this being wrapped up, it's another one live. Like I tell people, let's go on over there to Perfect Timing and support him as well. But until the next time, like I always say, we here, we gone.